Hey, what's up guys, Joshua's Booster and welcome back to another Digimon video. Today I'm bringing you a sort of the first EX3 gameplay match on my channel. Technically I already uploaded one this weekend, but that was between no EX3 decks, and this time it will be against between two EX3 decks. Yeah, first locals after the release of EX3. Myself on the left playing Examon against Stefan playing Aegisdramon actually on the right. There will be a little bit of a glare on the right side specifically, but I hope with the edits it shouldn't really matter that much. But yes, Stefan always playing like the more roguish decks, or decks that not a lot of people play. And I actually really want to play D-Brigade for this local, since it is my favorite deck. However, I somehow only pulled one Dartramon from two boxes, but I did pull like the entirety of the of the Examon deck. So yeah, I just decided to put that together real quick and then take it to locals. Took some inspiration from Primitive Kage's build. And I had to borrow one Examon from Stefan at locals, so shout out to him. But yeah, let's take a look at the match. Going to evolve to Quadramon there for 3. And yeah, I remember, like, if you see my hands, it's absolutely horrible. It's like double Slayer Dramon, Break Dramon, Mega Death. It's literally just really big guys, Examon. So I really can't do much here, and I just have to pass the turn, which is literally something you never want to do. But yeah, Examon being one of the more hyped decks from EX3. I think a lot of people said it's like the best one from the set. And I'm not sure yet, to be honest. I have to do a little bit more testing and stuff. It's quite slow to set up, but once you do get to the Examon, it is of course very, very strong. What I dislike about the deck though is that you see me whiff again for digging for level 5 there, but just not finding it. But yeah, what I dislike about the decks, like the level 4 effects are really redundant, right? The level 4s and 5s, I should say, like the inheritables, they are just the same. I guess of course, it's basically the design that you have to build a stack with multiple colors and then have all the effects. But in the end, if you DNA Digivolve, you will have that anyway. So I just wish the inheritables were like a little bit different or better. And then Aegisdramon is like, it revolves around playing stuff from the sources. We see Stefan here evolving to Metal Seedramon, which is not something you want to do. However, if you can evolve into the Aegisdramon after that, you can actually just spit out the Metal Seedramon and basically play out level 6 for free, right? Which is very strong. The deck basically revolves around playing, I think it's like Aquatic, Sea, Animal, and Fish from the sources. However, Aegisdramon can also just play Digimon with Seedramon in their name, I'm pretty sure, from the sources. So that means you can, as you see here, play out the Metal Seedramon for free. I do make a pretty big misplay here. I suspend the Metal Seedramon, then bounce the Aegisdramon to hand, but it literally doesn't do anything, because now you can just evolve into the Aegisdramon again and again spit out the Metal Seedramon. So yeah, a little bit of a misplay there. And yeah, I'm still just looking for that level 5. Wow, Stefan's already up at his level 7, so yeah, just not looking that good for me. Once again, the Quadramon gets bounced. Evade, nice mechanic, but not against this. Going to evolve into another Modoki Beta in the back. And then doing a little think here. Hard playing Dracomon, so, digging for that level 5. And still not seeing it. We do see Slayer Dramon and the green Quadramon though. And I decided to go for the Quadramon. Yeah, which is fair, right? Because Stefan here does have 5 potential attacks next turn, and I do only have 4 security. So yeah, having access to that blocker pretty nice. He's going to start off by evolving to Tobiamon, which does mean he would have to pass turn against Hammer, Spark, and Security or Ice Wall. But yeah, we'll see. Goes with Metal Seedramon. It's Windramon. Would have been nice if it was the other way around. Then at least the Metal Seedramon would have been deleted by the Break Dramon in Security. But yeah, can't win them all. And Stefan actually is going to play the Memory Boost here. So playing it super, super safe. Not wanting to lose out to Mega Death or Hammer Spark here. Even though, honestly, I doubt it would have mattered anyway. Like, even if I somehow do manage to build up my Examon stack next turn, like, what am I realistically going to do against 5 Digimon on the field, right? And if I would do that, I would give him like 7 memory anyway, so yeah, not looking that good here, but we'll see what we can do. So looks like we finally found a level 5 in Ground Dramon here. So now we have a double blocker stack. Which is like what I said about the redundant effects, right? If I would have access to Aegisdramon, that would be nice, but yeah, obviously I just don't have that, right? Since I probably drew the Groundramon this turn. And then, so we're finally going to see some relatively okay plays. We're finally going into the Slayerdramon, which is the one that is probably my favorite card in the deck. The effect is so cool, where at the start of the main phase you can suspend one of your Dramons to force your opponent to attack. And then going to suspend himself here, and then I can unsuspend him with his effect. He's going to attack with the Aegisdramon, and it actually hits into Mega Death here, so that's quite nice for me. And I'm going to suspend his Metal Seedramon and bounce it to hand. But yeah, he still has 3 attacks and I only have 1 blocker. So even though that play was pretty cool, probably not going to cut it there. He's going to go into the Aegisdramon. Once again, he does leave himself open to the potential Hammer Spark. But I think he's just going to play it super passively here. You know, Slayerdramon is really strong against single stack decks. But against, yeah, you know, if there's already multiple Digimon on the field, the effect isn't that relevant. Unless you have something like Ice Wall, that's like the combo, right? You put your opponent to 1 and then force him to attack with Slayerdramon. They are under Ice Wall and they just give the turn back to you. Which is kind of ridiculous. However, sadly, Ice Wall is at 1. Well, not sadly, I mean, it's good Ice Walls at 1, right? But for this specific deck, it would have been kind of cool. But yeah, going to evolve the Quadramon there for 2. And here I remember this, I'm gonna make like a little misstep. Like it wouldn't have mattered, I think not, but I probably would have went for another line if I didn't make this little derpy play. But yeah, I'm going to evolve the Wingdramon here. And now I want to use the end of turn effect to evolve. However, I have 2 blue Digimon on the field, so I can't go into the Examon, and yeah, that means the game is pretty much over here, right? I have 1 blocker, which I guess technically can block twice. Yeah, going to suspend the Wingdramon here to force him to attack. He's going to attack the security, hits into Quadramon, but it won't matter, right? Because now I have 2 blockers against 4 attackers, and we know there can't be anything in security anymore. Even though it was Quadramon, which is definitely nice, but, you know, not nice enough to help me win the game here. So yeah, not such a strong showing for Examon in the first game of me playing it. But we'll see if it gets better. Would be nice to actually see Examon come down, right? Or actually, you know, see Slayerdramon hit the field faster. Tobiamon coming down there, putting me to 1, so quite a nice start if you have to go first with the fishy deck. I'm just gonna go evolve the Dracomon and play Davis and double hit here into another Dracomon and Quadramon, the green one, the blocker inheritable one. Instead of going to memory boost here, he considers the Aegisdramon there, but he's actually going to pick up the Metal Seedramon and bottom deck Ice Wall. So it's nice we don't have to worry about that any longer. Then going to play another memory boost, and actually this time he does add the Aegisdramon, which he bottom decked with the last one. I'm not sure how many he's playing. I think he's playing 3 in his list, so, you know, bottom decking 1 is quite scary. But, you know, if you don't have access to level 5, the level 7 isn't gonna do anything anyway, right? So, definitely fair enough to pick up the Mega Seedramon with the first one. I'm going to go evolve to Quadramon, then Hammer Spark, and go into Wingdramon. So now I have a stack with blocker and evade, but yeah, those things, when your Digimon isn't unsuspending, they don't really have much synergy, right? Because if you evade, you can't block any longer, and if you block, you can't evade any longer. But it is nice we actually got to build up to a level 5 this early in the game compared to last game, so it means we actually might get to see some actual plays. Stefan does have a level 5 setup in the back though, and double memory boost. However, this is where Slayerdramon really shines. Because basically now, since it is a blocker, Stefan won't be able to really move out the stack. First I'm going to attack and then unsuspend. But yeah, I'm going to play down Madoki there, and now basically he's going to attack. And then I can force him to attack with the Slayerdramon, and then Slayerdramon is also a blocker, right? So he will unsuspend himself, and then I can block. and then his deck gets deleted. Sure, he will be able to play out level 3, but he for sure doesn't want that to happen with him with the Dracomon there. But yeah, he does play around really well by just playing double guys in the front. Which means that he will be able to move out his Mega Seedramon next turn. And then when I force him to attack, he can just attack with one of the little guys, and he won't be losing a stack to the Slayerdramon. However, I'm putting some pressure on here with the Slayerdramon since it can just attack unsuspend all turns. Do hit into TK here though, which is a little bit of a shame, which since it means he will be starting at 3 every turn now. But it is what it is. It's still looking quite good, and I potentially even have a game on board next turn. I'm going to play down Dracomon here and have all the options in the world: Cordramon, Breakdramon, or another Slayerdramon. Going to pick up the Cordramon here, which probably means I don't have access to a level 4 at this specific moment. As I mentioned, he's going to move out the Metal Seedramon here, Mega Seedramon here, and I force his Madoki to attack, which is going to get deleted by the Slayerdramon. And now he will be, if he wants to be actually able to build up his stack, he actually is going to evolve to another Mega Seedramon. So that means he will be potentially able to play out his Aegisdramon, which has the unplay effect to give something blocker and unsuspend it. And but first he's going to go Mega Seedramon, play out Madoki, and the Mega Seedramon is actually going to hit into the Wingdramon. I decided not to block here with my Slayerdramon just because, yeah, I'm just not sure if he will then suddenly be able to out it, right? Because I'm not sure what all the effects are on in this deck. But yeah, he's going to just hard play Aegisdramon from his hand there to give Mega Seedramon blocker. But yeah, that will probably still not be enough to survive this turn, right? Slayerdramon going to attack there, unsuspend. And then, yeah, I'm going to Mega Dev. That's one of the things I also like about this deck, about Examon. You know, you can play Mega Dev, which is just such a strong card, both in hand and in security. 5 cost for what it does, just kind of ridiculous. And you will have a relative easy time to get access to it. You know, from the hand, which is very nice. So yeah, Examon tying the score to 1-1, but still no Examon anywhere inside. However, this game Slayerdramon proved to be strong enough to actually win the game. Yes, if I'm going to Crabmon, then playing the TK, I'm going to evolve to Vmon, which is one of the decks I stole from Primitive Kage. However, not gonna lie, I don't really like it. After locals, I cut it from the deck just because, yeah, it was just a little bit lackluster to me. It literally never came up, and I really felt like more Madoki beta was better. But yeah, Dracomon finally not going to whiff here, and I think I picked up the green Cordramon, or it could have been Groundramon, I couldn't quite tell. Because I was distracted. But yeah, Stefan there seems to be missing a level 4 and just going to have to hard play the Mega Seedramon there. And you know, this the Aegisdramon deck is really not one of the decks where you really want to hard play stuff, because you know the entire purpose of the deck is to play stuff from sources, and if you hard play stuff, then there is nothing in the sources. So yeah, I'm going to go into Cordramon there. I did gain 2 memory from Davis and Ken, which is very nice because the EX3 Dracomon is a dual color, right? And here I'm just slowly building up the stack. Now I have a Wingdramon with blocker, which will also gain 1000 when it is suspended. So it will be able to block the Mega Seedramon if I want to and survive. And I'm going to end the turn by playing down the Dracomon. And again, have lots of options: Groundramon, Cordramon, or Slayerdramon. And I'm going to pick up the Slayerdramon, which is definitely nice since I am, you know, slowly building up the stack here. So I will be able to drop it next turn unless he outs my my Wingdramon. He's going to evolve to Placeomon here, which would usually play out level 4 from a stack, but there is no level 4 like I mentioned before, right? So he's just going to attack here, and very unlucky for him, he's going to hit into Breakdramon, which is 12k. And he's going to end the turn by playing down the Sora and Joe. I will gain 2 memory from Davis and Ken, since I do have both green and blue Digimon in play. Evolve to Madoki Beta and raising there. Here, just consider my options a little bit. We do now have access to the Slayerdramon if I do want to go into that. Actually opt to go for Davis here first to dig for some more pieces. And I actually review Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode here, which is another cool tech that I saw in the Primitive Kage video. you know, being able to spit out a Quadramon, preferably, of course, the draw 2-1, and like a Search Dracomon or a Madoki potentially is very, very nice. But I do opt to go into the Slayer Dramon here just because it provides more control, right? Going to force him to attack, and he actually hits into a Mega Death right away. So pretty rough. Then he's going to go into Tobiamon in the back here, so he does have X2 level 4 now. And then going to Waymon, which has an unplay effect where you can play like level 3 from sources, I think. But yeah, just evolving doesn't really do anything. And then I honestly, like 7 costs just for that effect is kind of expensive in my opinion. Yeah, he's going to play another Crabmon here to once again play around the Slayer Dramon effect, right? So he will be able to safely move out his stack next turn and not get wrecked by the sort of main phase effect of Slayer Dramon. I also think like maybe Forbidden Trident will be like a good pick in this deck because, you know, it just costs 1 and then it will be harder for your opponent to play around the Slayer Dramon effect, but still have to test it. Just going to go a little bit aggro here, swing with the Vmon, hit to Aegisdramon, so Vmon gets deleted. And then, yeah, go into the Quadramon for 2 there over the Dracomon, or for 3 over the Madoki. Actually. Yeah. And then play Hammer Spark. And what I think I'm gonna do here is like a little bit of a weird claim. I'm just gonna go evolve into the Examon for 5. And now if I do that, I could potentially put a Dramon in its sources, but I opt not to since I would only be able to grant it redundant effects. However, I probably should have in hindsight just to play a little bit more around the Sora and Joe. However, I'm not gonna lie, Stefan forgets to proc it here, so it doesn't really matter. And here I force him to attack. Then I block it, and then I can use the when suspending effect from the Examon to also suspend his Waymon, so he at least won't be able to attack anymore this turn. He's going to go into Placiamon though, and then let's see. Oh no, he's first going to let's put Metal Seedramon under Placiamon with its own effect, I think, and then Crabmon is going to give a jamming and put the Aegisdramon in the sources. So yeah, I think that's what's happening here. And that means now, since he put the Metal Seedramon in the sources, yeah, so he can do exactly this, go into Aegisdramon and then play out the Metal Seedramon. So you really never really want to evolve into the Metal Seedramon, the Aegisdramon deck, I think, but you do want to put it into the sources with the Placiamon, for example. And then Aegisdramon into Metal Seedramon is basically the best play of the deck, right? But yeah, going to go to 5 here because of the Davis and Ken, and even though Stefan's board might be pretty big at this point, Examon is just extremely powerful in both, you know, outing stuff as well as being like a defensive Digimon, which is extremely cool. Going to suspend the Metal Seedramon there, but it doesn't really matter that much. Then just going to play down Dracomon and whiff once again. But honestly, I don't think there's much that we're looking for, right? Going to go into the Evade Quadramon there. I pick up Ice Wall, but you know, with the Memory Tamer up, it's not as strong as it would be if I could put him to 1 and just go into Wingdramon there. Fair enough. So yeah, he's going to, yeah, I'm going to tap the Wingdramon to force him to attack with the Slayer Dramon Inheritable, and then since Examon is now on the field, it will also be suspending one of his Digimon. So like that's super strong, right? Alright, let's be real. Crazy powerful effect with the Slayer Dramon in the stack. Would have been even crazier if there was like a Slayer Dramon or a Ground Dramon, sorry, Break Dramon on the field, but sadly we didn't get to DNA Digivolve this entire match. So yeah, we see him go to Piranimon there, which has obvious synergy with the deck because of this rush, but it won't matter since now we have 4 attacks, which should definitely be enough to finish off the game. And that's exactly what's going to happen there. So yeah, not a super strong showing from Examon, but we did definitely get to see some of the cool stuff it does. And yeah, definitely GG in my opinion.